Hello, everybody. This is Ferno11. I had a request from someone to play four games, actually. I'm going to tilt my mic up a little bit because I think it's too close. The first game was they wanted me to play either Okami or Final Fantasy 12. Downside is frankly put, I work a seasonal job, and right now I'm dating myself, but oh well. Right now it is the dead of winter. It is December 1st tonight when I'm recording the first episode of this. So I'm not going to have a job or I'm not going to be able to have any real money income until about March. So that's December, January, February, March. So I'm looking at a good 3-4 months that I just am not going to have any income whatsoever. So generally speaking, that I'm going to need to have a PS2 before I could do either of those. I do have a way to record, or my roommate does, so I could record them once I have a PS2, but I have to get a PS2, and then I have to get the recording gear to do so. So I'm not sure how that would work. We'll have to see how that goes. But so Skyrim, I am going to be playing Skyrim. I am also running a modded version of Skyrim, so I am going to go over the mods that I have right now. You guys should still be able to see everything, like it still should be recording. So I am running Aetheronautics. It's a space travel mod. I just have this on here because it looked cool and I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. I have archery spinning arrows. What this is supposed to do is when you get a kill cam with an arrow, they should arrows should spin when you fire them now. I am running the Better Beast Races version 2. It's basically a skin overhaul. I am also running the Better Females by Bella, simply because I don't like the default faces for females in Skyrim. I think it just doesn't look very good. I am also running Difficult Archery. What this is the NPCs have almost perfect aim in Skyrim, and that makes it really unfair. I dislike that, especially because as a player, because you know they have perfect aim, you can actually just do a little sideways dance, or you can dodge arrows by moving a direction that they're going and then stopping when they shoot and then going the other way, and you can make them miss a lot. This Difficult Archery basically makes it so that they have a chance of missing. You can manipulate the percentages, but I keep it at the default setting, so this adds a degree of randomness to it, so you might be able to dodge, but you might dodge right into the arrow's path now, so that's fun. Okay. The other mod that I have that you guys are actually going to be seeing a lot of is the Naruto Ultimate Overhaul. This is basically a lot of Naruto-based skills and other-based skills. Like, I believe it also has a couple of Bleach skills that are pretty fun. And yeah, so it's a lot of fun. The mod is really well done. The graphics, the skins and the textures are amazing. The sound is really good. So it's a lot of fun. I am running the Percus Maximus Maximum Perk Overhaul with all perks overhauled. So all of my perks are going to look very, very different, which is something I enjoy. I'm running the race compatibility with fixes so that if I play as a custom race, I can play as a custom race. I am running real archery. Basically, bows are more real, I guess. It's hard to say. Basically, you have two types of bows. You have short bows and long bows. Short bows can be fired a lot quicker. Or bows have different speed settings, and the slower the bow it is to draw to full pull, the more oomph it's got. Whereas the faster you can draw it and fire and draw again, the less damage it does. So it actually adds a lot of balance between the games. So like the longbow is actually one of the strongest bows in the game, but it takes about 5 seconds for you to fully draw it, fire. So there's definitely a trade-off. Now, normally I have Realistic Water 2 running as well. However, because I am recording this, I am not having this activated. I have it disabled because, frankly put, Normally, I mod Skyrim's graphics to the point where it makes my computer lag, so I can't do that. I'm running Sky UI because it is required for a couple. It's required for a few mods, so I have to have that running. I am running these. I am also disabled the static mesh improvement. Normally, I have that activated. I do not now. I have the Somerset Isle installed, which I don't know what this is supposed to do. I think it's actually a mage. Continues the story of the Archmage of Winterhold when they're summoned to the land of the Altmer. So it's basically something new. Again, I haven't tested it, so I'm just checking it out. I am also running the Uchiha Clan mod, which is based on, it's compatible with the Naruto Ultimate Overhaul, which is you can play as an Uchiha and you actually have abilities unlocked. It's a lot of fun. Thunderchild Epic Shouts and Immersions. Basically, it completely overhauls how the shout system works. It's a lot of fun. It's really cool, and I don't play Skyrim without it now. I also have ultra realistic bow shoot sounds. I think the default bow sound is a little pathetic, especially when I'm using a bow that does massive damage. I kind of want it to sound more like an actual bow being shot. So, but that won't really matter because I'm not using a bow. And then I have Wyrm's Tooth. It's a really cool area. It's like a whole new island that you can explore. There's a dragon. It's a lot of fun. It's really interesting. Definitely worth a check out. I'd say it's worth a good 10-20 hours of gameplay just exploring the island. However, it is difficult, so it only activates above level 10, and I would honestly say you want to be a little bit higher before you want to try running it. So those are the mods I'm running. I also did something unique with my character creation, and I'm sorry that this is going on for a long time. I just wanted to explain, because the username, or the person who requested the game was, what was her name? Uchiha Mistress, I believe? Mistress Uchiha. It was one of the two. Yeah, I don't want to open Chrome while I have Skyrim running and recording. It might crash the computer. I believe it was Uchiha Mistress. She was the one that suggested it to give her ideas for her own Skyrim. So I kind of wanted to go over that specifically because this game was a request. I am also going to try to not drag this out. But I did something unique. Normally how I play the game is a stealth bow user. I shoot from the shadows and then use daggers if I have to. However, that makes a very boring gameplay. So what I did was I rolled I used a random number generator to determine what I would be doing. So for I picked a primary way of fighting or dealing damage, and the choices were melee or long range. And had long range been picked, I would have picked, swords. Or had long range been picked, I would have then rolled further between bows and magic, and then figured out what to do from there. In this case, I rolled melee, and then I had to choose, single-handed or dual wielding, and I got one-handed, and then I rolled again to see if I could use a shield or not. I can't use a shield. So I'm using melee one-handed as my primary and melee attack. My secondary, I had to pick between bows or spells, and so I rolled and got spells. I added in Conjuration here because Conjuration does have attacks. I also added Conjuration as melee because what that would have been is I would have used Conjuration, or Conjuration as my primary, but I only would have been using the summon, like swords and stuff like that. I wouldn't have been able to use the summons or anything. Had I used Conjuration as a secondary, I could have used all of its abilities. And then I rolled Support, which would have been Alteration, Illusion, my secondary, I ended up rolling Destruction Magic. And then Support, I could have rolled Alteration, Illusion, Conjuration, and Conjuration and Restoration. And Conjuration would have been summons only and no other abilities. I rolled Restoration, which is actually not as bad as it sounds. What Percus Maximus does is it actually gives... It's interesting what it does. Like, it actually makes Restoration a viable way of dealing with the undead instead of, I think, the 1 or 2 spells that specifically can hurt undead. So that was that. And then Armor type, and then I rolled what armor type I used, which was light or heavy, and I rolled heavy. So basically I'm running around in plate mail. So that is what I am using. I'm going to leave that notepad up so I don't forget what I'm doing. Okay. Oh, great. Well, I can't get back into the game, so I will be right back. I'm not going to do the whole opening sequence. I'm just going to jump. Okay, something new happened. That's something new I have not seen before. So I just wanted to post a picture of that, so if you guys want to read it, you can. So I'll see you guys at character creation. Alright, I'm just doing a quick test of what it looks like when I'm looking around. I might have to save when I get to character creation and then exit out, because I want to keep it above 20 at all times, and it looks like I'm about at... I'm dropping below 20 frames per second when I'm recording, so we'll see. If the quality is a little bit less, that's why. Okay, so I turned everything down to medium to low, and it doesn't look like it's dropping below 30, so I think this is the setting we're going to be using. Again, I apologize for the low graphics. It's the best I can do without going below 20 frames per second. If it does drop below 20 at a point, I will mess with the options again.
Who are you?
Alright. So, as you can see, you have a bunch of different options. I'm not going to go into... The problem is I don't normally play as a bunch of different races in Skyrim, so I'm not familiar with if everybody has a power or not, or what has changed to that. I think they all have powers. Yeah. So, because normally I just play as a Nord, since you have to fight a lot of the one guys. The undead tend to use ice spells, but I'm going to be playing as an Uchiha. As you can see, it is clearly not Skyrim lore. Interesting. So, body. So basically, you can be male or female. For the sake of this Let's Play, I'm going to be male. That looks really familiar, and I can't think of why. Okay. The only downside to the Uchiha stuff is I don't really like the presets all that much. So I am going to be a melee fighter, so I do want to be at least somewhat buff. And I'm going to be using plate. Okay. Usually I just use the default stuff because I'm going to be wearing... Well, it doesn't really matter what I do for my face either, because I'm basically going to be wearing a helmet for most of it. But overall, like, I don't like the default stuff, and trying to figure out how to do the eyes, like, or how to... I don't know, I never was really particularly, I don't know, I never really got used to doing the face slidey stuff. Basically how you can build a face, I never got around to doing it. Okay. So one of the things that the Naruto overhaul, stop stumbling, is you can do a bunch of different, like, Sharingan eyes and that sort of thing, among other things. Like, this is Itachi after he uses his eye, that is Shishui's, and, like, that's the Rinnegan in the one eye. So, like, there's actually a lot of, like, Naruto things that are with those eyes that are really cool, but that is not what we are doing. That works. Okay. Don't care. Okay. And whatever. Doesn't really matter to me. Okay. Normally I'm very picky about my characters and how they look, but not right now.
Captain, what should we do? He's not on the list.
So as you can see, one of the things that
By your orders.
the thing that lets you play with custom races is basically it makes the game skip race-specific comments, and that allows you to play as a non-race, because otherwise the game will just wait, and the game will look at your save character to see what you did and like what race you are to respond appropriately.
But a hero doesn't use a power
And
to murder his
if it's not
alien
there, the game will
usurpers
just
for
crash
life.
at those points. So it restricts certain quests that mention your race specifically. That mod removes those lines of dialogue, so they never happen, and you can continue playing. I think that's how it works anyways. So, as I'm sure everybody who's played this game is before, you've seen this before, so I'm just going to skip to the point where we actually start playing the game.
Is that really a dragon? Bring us of the end
Alright,
times.
so this is the point where I decided to continue again, because now I can actually start
Let me see
playing
if
the
I can
game.
get those bindings off. There you go. Take a look around.
Thank you.
There should be plenty of gear to choose from.
Da, 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 da,
I'm going
da,
to see if I
da,
can find
da.
something for these bones.
Okay. So before I go and grab those items there, I actually need to do a couple of things. First of all, because I'm playing the Uchiha clan, I need to store my eyes. What that means is when you are playing as the Uchiha, do not select. There we go. And you use your Sharingan abilities, it will actually change your eyes to have the Sharingan. And so it has to store your original eyes. If you don't store it, it will bug out and cause problems. So now I have to pick the Sharingan path. So I have to reset. So now I have to cast Sharingan Awakening to pick my path. Okay, so now you have one of 5 eyes to follow. So I'm going to go through these one at a time. I'm going to choose Sasuke's because it has the most... Him and Madara have the most room for potential, but I don't really like Madara, so... or Madara's abilities as much. So Shishui, you also do gain actual like spells, which is really cool. So as you can see, you have the Fireball Jutsu, the body flickering. I think that just teleports you, but I also think it happens silently. So if you're stealthing, you can just stealth behind someone. I don't know, because like I said, I've experimented with these a little bit, but I didn't use them heavily. Draconian methods makes everybody run in terror, is basically what it is. And Izanagi, you can't die, I don't think. Tsukiyomi, I mean, you can read it. And then his ultimate ability, which you can get the Mangekyo Sharingan. Calm target, make him your teammate. Hold it to the second, make him your follower. And 3, he actually kills himself. It's kind of cool. Tobi's are by far the most quote-unquote helpful for Skyrim, though. Oh, he can get the Rinnegan, too. Okay, so you have the Phoenix Flower. You can become ethereal, which is pretty good. You can summon a chest, so Kamui. You can teleport to the Kamui. You can teleport a target to Kamui, so after you send somebody there, you can teleport there too. Here you can teleport to any specified location in a menu, so like general places. Then you can teleport anywhere on a map. Teleport to target location, which is an aimed spell, so if like there's a ledge that you can't get to, you can actually teleport up to it, which is hugely helpful. Teleport behind target NPC, and possibility to obtain the Rinnegan. The Rinnegan you actually can get. So Madara, as you can see, Madara's abilities really just aren't that good. Like, I don't know, I don't like him as much. So Itachi, also restrictive abilities, but he has the Fireball, Mirage Raven, Izanagi, Tsukiyomi, Amaterasu, and then Itachi Susanoo. Amaterasu is one of the most overpowered things in the game, by the way. So, but it's also incredibly difficult to get to, and 20 uses and your vision is in grayscale, and it's almost impossible to fight. So there is a balance there. So then there is Sasuke. Sasuke can use the Dragon Flame, the Chidori Aisu? I don't know. Chidori Nagashi, Kirin, Tsukiyomi, Amaterasu, Sasuke Susanoo, which has a crossbow, which I don't really use as Susanoo. And then the possibility to obtain the Renegon if you installed the optional plugin. That is because when this mod first came out, we didn't know Sasuke could do that. Once the manga and anime caught up, he added the optional thing, which I did put in here. So I am torn between Sasuke and Tobi's, or as his other name is known, which I will not spoil for those who are not Naruto fans, because Tobi's abilities are definitely super helpful. At the same time, though, I believe basically all of his ability, like all of these abilities, are Mangekyo abilities, and so that means I won't have access to them until I've killed like 200 people. Like actually killed 200 people. So I'm not even going to have access to them for a while. Whereas Sasuke gets, I think actually Sasuke starts with the most offensive abilities, and he gets them naturally each time he levels up. So I'm going to pick Sasuke's for this. So I've chosen Sasuke's path. So first of all, I'm going to go to this chest to do this. Then I'll go here. Now I would like to point out that I am not going to be put those down. I am not going to be speedrunning because shoot. Because I think the heck? What? Oh, I think I know what the scrap of paper is. I think that's for the Aethernauts. Oh shoot! I need to. Okay. I might as well favorite the sword. What happened? Oh, yeah, healing and flames. Since I actually have to use. I might as well favorite that as well. Okay. Uh-oh. That is not what I wanted. I want this to be there and that to be there. Okay. Now, the thing that some people don't realize is I said I wasn't going to be speedrunning. That's not quite true. If you activate this and just run ahead, ignoring and you don't follow Farengar. No, that's not his name. I don't remember. The Stormcloak soldiers will just stand here and let you attack them.
If you want hold
What did I do? I think I did a jump stab, or I think I tried to do a kill cam and it didn't work because I was glitched. Hadvar. Yeah, that's his name. Okay. So yeah, you can loot stuff if you want to. Personally, I think it's a waste of time. Oh, I also should show. I am going to be playing through on Adept, so I'm not going to be playing on Legendary, but I am not going to be playing on Novice either. I could play on Legendary, but usually that requires me to play very specifics, or a very specific playstyle involving Conjuration, among a couple of other things. So I am not going to be doing that. Okay. I guess I should be sticking to Hadvar. Oh no! Those poor people at the end of the tunnel.
Damn, that dragon doesn't give up easy.
No, it does not.
What are you doing? We need to get out of Helgen, now!
Basically, Hadvar is your overpowered, quote-unquote, protection. Now, these guys will attack you regardless of if Hadvar is... there to,
You think you can take me?
That's it. That's all you got.
those guys will attack you regardless of whether Hadvar is there or
Might come
not.
in handy.
Okay. Let's go ahead and pop some healing. Oh shoot, that's not what I was going to do. So, while I did say that I was going to be mostly using Destruction as a secondary, and I'll be using Restoration as a support, that doesn't mean that I can't use other stuff. It just means for the most part I am not going to be using anything else. Like, there are certain points where I will use Alteration, and there are certain points where I will be using Illusion Magic, but I'm not going to use them exclusively either. And you want to have the Iron Dagger, because... Or I always make sure to loot the Iron Dagger, because what I do is I just go get the, I'm kind of spoiling things, I guess, a little bit, but, oops. Go. Damn it. So it's here. I usually go get the Dragonstone right away, and so one of the things you can do to level up insanely fast is go through there with just dual daggers, and your sneak will level up so much. Which I'm not using sneak, so I really should be using that.
Just give me a minute. Let me think.
This is probably a suicide idea. I don't know. We'll see. Hold still. Oh dear. Run away! No, you won't. Ow. Get out of here.
That's your best, huh? It's nothing.
By the way, if you do run the better archery or realistic archery, you need to be careful, because if memory serves, the guys down over here are actually using the longbows, which deal massive damage. Like I said, it's actually just really bad news. Okay, so he doesn't have it. This one does those. No, that one doesn't. Oh, there's the archers. Okay. So yeah, like as an example, you can see like the Iron War Axe does 9 damage. The longbow starts with 25 damage. So the longbow is definitely powerful. It is definitely pretty strong, like almost to the point of being ridiculously unfair. But like I said, it's coming at a price. In essence, the longbow can only shoot once for every time that the shorter bow can shoot twice. So you're counting on, you know, you killing your opponent in one shot. Because if you don't, you're dead. So it's really interesting. Basically, it just makes the game different. So you can actually, it provides variety, I feel, to archery. So I'm gonna grab that. Not everybody knows about this. And, interestingly enough, there's the bridge we just... What? Oh, that's a different one. I thought that was the other one. Well, I'm not going to fight giant spiders without Hadvar, so come on, Hadvar.
That doesn't go anywhere.
Sure it does.
Guess we'd better try this one.
Get on your stomach. That's like not my largest fear, but that's probably like my most realistic fear, would be like trying to have to escape out of a narrow tunnel like that with a bunch of water, and then getting stuck and not being able to back up, knowing you're going to die, and like just trying to struggle. Then again, I also watched Caves, which was where like a bunch of divers went underwater, and or when they went cave diving, and they, long story short, they got stuck underwater, or in a... That was hilarious. they got trapped underwater, and so like basically the story was them just dying, as horrible as that sounds. And so they just kept dying. Like, party members just kept it, or people just kept it dying over and over again. And it was like things just kept happening. People kept happening. And it finally came down to the point where, and I got the name of the title wrong. I don't know what movie this is, but in essence, you know, like, only one person is going to get out. And, like, basically the dad ends up dying, and the kid has, like, his son, who doesn't even like diving, ends up having to kill him. It's horribly depressing. Like, it was and it was like just, that's another fear of mine. It's like, I don't want to die. I don't know, just death in general is not a pleasant thought. So let's continue on. So what can I talk about while we're running to
This looks like the way out. I was starting to wonder if we'd ever.
the Dragon Stone? Well, in essence, why did I choose the Imperials? In this situation, being thrown into it like I was, I actually feel I would connect more to the Nords, the Stormcloaks, than I do the Imperials, because I kind of live in America, and so I see it like kind of the same situation where we rebelled against Britain as a colony, and I sort of see like the Nords being a quote-unquote colony, which they're not, but being controlled by the Imperials, and so they're trying to bring the Skyrim back to its, I don't know, trying to bring its own back, like its own country again. And so I kind of empathize more with that. However, I feel it was also done in a very bad way. Particularly, now, normally I would pick, well, I'm going to go get the Lover's Stone, but I'm going to get the Thief Stone for now because I'm going to be working on I'm not really going to be working on I might as well just go get the Lover's Stone right now. Or first. But normally I would empathize more with the Stormcloaks, but something that I found was that I feel almost like they did it. Skyrim does this really poorly, because one of the things that we're going to find here is basically the main quest line has you helping a certain person, and please mute your volume until you hang on. I'm gonna kill these dogs because I have to say something plot related, and I don't want to spoil the game for someone that hasn't played it yet. I have to be careful about melee attacks. I can be diseased. I also typically play as a wood elf when I sneak, so I'm immune to diseases most of the time. Okay, so when I draw my sword, that is when I'm done talking about spoilers. So if you want to just turn the volume off and turn it back on again when I draw the sword, or when I start running, that'll be it. When I start running, then I am done with the plot. So once I start moving, you're good to go. So basically, I side more with the Imperials because Belgruth, I hate. Like, I was just doing it because I sided with the Imperials because, you know, Hadvar, whatever. And I typically go light armor anyways, as opposed to heavy. But I didn't realize that the Stormcloaks made you betray Belgruth, and the way that it does made me feel so bad about myself that I just deleted the character and started again, because I felt so bad going through the game, helping him out, helping defend the city, doing all of this stuff with him, and then just turning around and stabbing him in the back to overthrow him. Like, I felt so horrible about myself. So yeah, that's why I typically choose not to go with them.
I'm glad you decided to come with me. We're almost to river.
Because it just, I feel bad about myself, and I don't do that. And like, once I knew what the consequences of that choice was, I can't in all good conscience pick it, because that's not how I am, that's not who I am. And I couldn't betray a friend, and I wouldn't want to. Alright, I'm just going to be kind of speed running this now because I'm just trying to get through it.
What? That explains what I saw earlier. We need
Yeah,
to get word to Jarl
yeah.
Hallgrim.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm glad to help in any way I can.
So sometimes he has
Help
really good stuff,
yourself to
sometimes he
whatever
does
you
not.
need.
Like one time he had a
Everything
ring
needs.
of illusion, which was really good. But like I said, he does not always. That's actually surprise. I can sell that. Okay.
Good day.
So once you talk to him, you are allowed to take items off of here as well. Be sure to take the steel dagger. That is very important. So take all of the free stuff first. Okay.
Uncle Halvor, hello.
Oh, he's shoot.
Thanks.
Well, I'll check and see. I try to pair up duel, so if you manage to get a hold of another steel dagger, great. If you can't,
Well, one of
oh
us
well.
has to do something.
I said no. No adventures.
So as you
no
can see, the better
theatrics,
faces does
no
make a little bit of a
thief chasing.
difference.
Well,
It's
what are you
harder
going
to
do then,
tell
huh?
with
Let's hear it.
the lower graphics,
done
but I can
talking about
tell the
this.
difference.
Oh, a customer. Well, I don't know what you overheard.
Okay.
but The Riverwood Trade. Take a look.
Basically, if you ask him what happened, he'll give you a quest to go recover the golden dagger, but I am not going to do that because we are going to get it or the golden claw, because we're going to get it anyways. Shoot, he doesn't have the steel dagger. Damn it. Circlet of minor archery. That's actually really good for the start. No. Really. It's late here. I'm tired. I should pick this up while I'm here, though. I can't because I'm broke. I should probably sell some stuff. I haven't mentioned I'm tired yet. Okay, let's sell the arrows because I'm not using arrows. Let's get rid of that. I have to keep those. Get rid of the iron boots and iron gauntlets. I know that I said I was going to be using heavy armor. However, I actually am going to be doing something in a second. Basically, I'm going to be using light armor only until we get through and actually get the stone, because there is someone in Whiterun that will actually allow you to just get it. Like, that will give you a full suit of steel plate, which, when you start the game, that is insanely good. Okay. Alright, so I might as well sell these. Okay. So now I've got 282. Okay.
I better get back to cleaning this.
So now that we've basically looted the crap out of him, let's go ahead and go. Do not attack the chickens. Unlike Ocarina of Time, if you attack the chickens, you do not just kick them. They do not swarm out of the sky. What happens is everybody gangs up and then kills you. Oh, also, if you're playing the Naruto mod, you can see that there is a new location here. That new location is the Jutsu Master Hideout. Hideouts. Oh, that's what I could do instead of the steel daggers. I could just use kunai. And this is where you get, like, all of the spells, all of the weapons. I think you can get a couple of companions here as well. Use custom abilities. Abilitas. Holgar, Dazi,
You have
and
questions?
Jutsu Master retired.
Take a look.
So I'm just going to show what everybody sells here. So he sells a lot of component stuff. Yeah, so basically he sells components.
It's a fine day with you around.
Yeah, so she is a companion,
Until
Oh.
next time.
dressed very nicely.
You've been a good friend. to
Yeah,
me.
so you have
That means
a choice of
something.
two companions. I believe they use spells that you can get here. Okay, so here we have the
Yes.
Illusion Master, who is actually invisible at all times.
look.
Each of the Jutsu Masters can actually train you. So here we have the Byakugan, which is basically, it turns on like it says, the description, but it turns everything white as well. It's really interesting and really fun. Hidden Mist Jutsu, that's actually what he's using right now. It creates mist and turns you invisible. And then Tsukiyomi. So this is for if you didn't pick an eye that already has it. That is what that tome is used for. It's basically treated like a shout.
And what might you?
Conjuration. Conjuration magic is, oh my gosh, he has so many conjurations, and you can just literally conjure everything. So here we have the Kamui stuff, which is actually really interesting, but we're not using this because I can't use conjuration.
Safe travel.
So that's conjuration. I'm going to talk to him in a sec. Destruction Master is who we are going to be spending most of our time with.
Spells and
The restoration
incantations
magic is actually
for those
just
with
as
the
good,
talents to
though.
cast them.
Okay, let's sell that. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so she actually has food pills. Each of the food pills do different things. The brown pills are actually really good. Holy shit, they're really good. Oh, she only has one brown. So what's the yellow one do? Yellow does nothing. Okay. So you actually have food pills, which are kind of interesting. She has ramen, which, go figure. That picture looks delicious, by the way. Then she has this. This spell, for those of you who know what it is so cool because it brings the dead back to life. And it works. It actually does what it is supposed to do. And it is crazy. So, let's say you killed somebody and you didn't mean to. You can bring them back to life. However, they will be hostile towards you because you killed them or you attacked them, but it actually brings them back to life. It's insane. I don't know if it works with quest givers because it does say the quest has failed now. So I don't know if you can bring them back and then re-engage the quest. I don't know. And then here it's basically just healing. It's a different healing magic. I'm not going to get it right now because I'm kind of tight on money.
All right then.
Then you have destruction magic,
Spells and incantations
which
for those with
this
the talents
is
to cast
so
them.
cool. There's so many stuff. So here we have the 3 words for Amaterasu, which does so much damage. We have the Bala from Bleach, and then the Sero. Then we have all of the different abilities here, which we're getting some of these. Like, we're not getting the Rasengan, we're not getting this one either. We're not getting the Hosenka. So,
Now, if you'll excuse
he is who I will probably be talking to the most, but... Oh, I can't steal that. Or I have to steal it is the point. Okay.
Take a look.
Okay, so he actually has a lot too. So here you can have Ambu masks. A couple of these are custom though. Chakra enhanced strength. I still don't know what that was. It technically doesn't have a picture, but I think it just enhances your physical attack power. Then you have like the rings of the different Akatskis. The headbands. Different headbands. Can I get it? I can get one. I can't get the other one. Crap. Then you can get the Kusanagi. I can get both of them. Yay! Those kunai are really, really good. Okay.
Until next time.
Yeah, see ya. Okay, so I need to unfavorite that and favorite them instead. Which I am only going to be using duels for right now. As soon as, like I said, I get out of Bleakfall Barrow. I think that's what... Is it Bleakfall's Barrow? I am not going to be using duel. I am going to be using a single one. Oh no, it's snowing. Oh no! It's a mud crab. I can't deal with it, guys. I need help. I need help. So as you can see, the kunai are actually pretty good. I actually think they are a little cheating, like they're a little god powered. Yeah, they do 11 damage and the iron sword does 8. So they basically are a steel sword, but with the speed of a dagger. Or a shagger. So it's they are a little bit cheating, and once I get a steel sword, I'm going to be using the sword. I should just be using the iron sword. Yeah, I, in good conscience, cannot use that. So I'll be using the iron sword, except for the sneak parts, because when you are sneaking, Skyrim levels you up according to... Oh, sorry about that, guys. It's probably my parents saying they're back in town. Yep. So they're back. Okay, they've been gone in California for about 3 weeks. Anyways, or a couple of weeks, I guess. So anyways, when you are sneaking, Skyrim will actually increase your sneak level based off of how much damage you do. So the more damage you can do when you're stealth on an enemy, the better your overall like sneak is. Like, I think a friend of mine has done this before and gotten his sneak like ridiculously high just going through Bleak Falls. But sneaking makes for boring gameplay. Gonna burn you alive, sucker. Come here. Wow. How do you have a steel greatsword? Level 1. That would have wrecked me. No. Ow! What are you doing here? Get out of here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take everything off of that one. Yeah, because my carry weight is 300, so I can sell that. Okay. Normally that's the boss, and she doesn't, or he or she doesn't come down from here until you actually attack them. But something about one of the mods that I have makes them do that now. Wow! Banded armor already? Holy cow! Yeah, you know what? At this point, I might as well, since I have full, like, armor already. Would you stop texting me? Literally just sent a smiley face. Wonderful. Thanks. Thanks for interrupting my, let's... Okay, I am turning my phone to silent now, because apparently, they can't stop texting me. If it's something other than a smiley... It's a fucking smiley face again. Anyways... Alright, banded armor, iron boots, iron gauntlets, iron helm. I can't use that. And I am not going to be using that. So I will just keep using the sword, I think. Yeah, and then I can sell it. Okay. Oh, you know what? I think I know what I'm going to do. Because I'm using a combine, I think I'm actually going to keep the hood. Because... Oh, yeah. Hey, it's cold in Skyrim. Don't judge me. It's cold. I have to keep my head warm. Okay. Fuck you. Okay. Stupid orc. The temptation to teabag him is immense, but I am going to avoid that. Okay. Interesting fact. No matter what the temperature is... I kind of want to try to shoot the bird out of the sky. No matter what the temperature is, or what the weather is before you come here, it will always be snowing the first time you visit Bleak Falls Barrow. Every time. I think the game has a couple of other points where it does that. Okay. I missed. Come on, baby, light my fire. Hiya! Ow!
Enough!
Get out of here. Oh, there you are. I have some fire with your name on it.
No!
Oh. kill cam looks so much better. That's the one thing, like, I wish I had a mod. Maybe I'll do that because I'm gonna actually save here in a sec. I'll go see if I can find a mod that will actually turn all kill cams into third person, because I think they like look just so stupid in first, because obviously it's done from your perspective, but like I just really wish that the kill cam was in. You could I wish you could choose what the kill cam did. Okay. Well, anyways, I also didn't turn on my recording setup, like the timer, so that's why I'm going to stop it here, because I don't know how long I've been recording for. So, thank you for watching, guys. This is Inferno 11, and this is episode 1 of Skyrim. Whether I continue it or not, well, I don't even know if this episode will see the life of day. That is up to Mr. Tsuchiha, who recommended, or who requested the game. So, maybe I'll see you guys next time. Maybe I'll have to delete the episode. I don't know. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching.